Hello everyone, I am Benjamin Contreras and I am back for another video for Jasper Cat Productions spring break of 2018. And for this video, since I've been pretty much doing um, been returning to old videos and sometimes even series that I've been doing. For this video, I'm going to return to a series that I announced quite a while ago, where I was going to take a look at make a sort of review, not really much of a review, but me simply talking about every single one of the games that I have in my Xbox 360 collection. And I thought for this video I could return to that. And if you have been following that little series since it first started, then you would know that the next game in the lineup is the sequel to one of the most difficult games of the last generation, Dark Souls 2. Now, since this isn't very much of a factual sort of review, I'm not really going to be paying attention to the story, and because the overall gameplay is only slightly different compared to the first one, I'm mostly going to be talking about the major things that they changed for this game. Some of them are good and some of them aren't necessarily that good, but one of the things that I liked about it is that, to me, they tried to make it a bit more approachable compared to the first game by adding a couple more I guess you could say features that people probably wished could have been in the original game. For example, the number one thing that this game improves upon is the fact that you don't have to wait until you're like 2/3 of the way through to be able to fast travel to different locations via the bonfires that you come across. You're able to do that right as you start in the game, which makes the overall experience a little bit faster compared to the first game, whereas back there you had to do a lot, there had to be a lot of backtracking, and you could sometimes reach an area while you're in a condition that you're probably not the most happy with. Another thing that they did is that they added more slots for your character to equip weapons. So now you're able to hold 3 weapons in each hand as opposed to only 2, and you're able to equip a total of 4 rings to your character, which makes can make your experience easier or possibly more difficult. That all depends on the kind of things that you equip yourself with, as well as what certain covenants that you join. Another thing that's much improved compared to the first game is that because this is running on a completely different engine, the game runs a whole lot smoother compared to the first one. In the first game, there were many areas, more specifically, I want to say towards the middle and end of the game, where certain areas would just cause so much lag, which really, slowed down the gameplay, of course. But with this one, the game runs a lot smoother, even on the 360. The game, moves very smoothly. There's little to no lag, at least from my experience playing it. And I just felt like it felt a little bit more faster compared to the first game. Now, like as I said, there are a lot of good things that they improved. There are also a couple of things that I know some people like to critique about with this compared to the first game, and I can sort of understand why. Because while I would say the overall gameplay is much faster and overall I would say better here, I feel like what this game sort of does not as well as the first one is its world and overall atmosphere. The first game felt like it had a much more creative sort of environment. Like, it still had that sort of murky undead style that the series is known for, but it felt a little bit more memorable, I want to say. There are far more areas, a larger amount of areas that people who've played the first game a lot would be able to remember a lot more. Whereas the second game, the only areas that really come to mind are the first few areas, and a lot of the later areas start to sort of blend in with one another, and it makes it a bit hard to differentiate some areas from the next. Another thing that I kind of want to say that the game sort of I'm not quite sure how to really word it, but the overall adventure, I want to say, felt a lot more. I'm not sure if I would probably say more fun in the first game, mostly because it was a lot more memorable. There are a lot more memorable moments in the first game compared to the second one, but usually when there's a sequel to a game in a immensely popular franchise, and there are a lot of reviews that I see, they like to compare this game to its predecessor. And while I usually don't like doing that, it sort of creates this I'm sort of like in the middle when it comes to whether or not I like this game more than the first, because even though I think I have a lot more fun with the first game, I still have a lot of fun going through and leveling up and creating my character in the second game. You know, with the improved gameplay, mechanics, they trimmed a lot to make it, I would say, like I said, more accessible to people who are probably not quite sure if they want to get into the series because of how infamous it's been for its difficulty, and they want to start with this one. I would say this is probably a good starting point for people who are trying to get into the Soul series. If you're just thinking of it as of course, just like an action RPG, I would say that this game does that a lot better. But for those who want to be a bit more, immersed in an interesting world, I would probably go and say you should get the first game. That is, if you don't have the next generation consoles, which of course I don't. But still, regardless of what it does sort of wrong that the first game did right, I still really enjoy this game, and I would recommend it to people who want to get into the series. So I hope all of you enjoyed my little return to my, I guess you could say, look at my Xbox 360 collection. And if I do I will continue this series once this spring break series that I'm doing is done. And until then, and until tomorrow for my next video, I will always be Benjamin Contreras, and bye.